Hey everyone, I just did a little video just kind of sharing my moment with you. And as I was sharing, I'm noticing my own body, my own sensations, and I'm talking about love and fear and that we are what we practice. And I want you to know that releasing fear is not always as simple as saying, okay, I'm consciously choosing to release fear, because our body and our mind are made to learn so automatically from experience that fear is not just an idea. Fear is not just a thing that, we respond from. In fact, most of fear is, let's just say, unconscious or physical. So as I'm speaking and as I'm sitting here, I'm noticing my own body trying to hold on. And that body is connected to this thing we call the mind. And it says, be careful of what you say, be careful of how you speak, be careful of how you connect. And that's how easy fear gets in the way of how we resonate, of how we connect, of how we, there's a dove that just flew over, of how we are, how we're being in the moment. So rather than indulging that fear, rather than acting out that fear, what I'm doing is I'm noticing the sensation in my body. I take a breath, I notice it, I observe it, I feel it. I do the opposite of trying to control. I allow it to have an expression. And then I just simply don't act it out. And by not acting it out, I'm literally teaching myself in this present moment that sensation in my body is not something I need to be afraid of. So we're literally we're writing the code for how we relate to our own sensations and our own ideas and our own stories in the present moment, in real time, all the time. So what I'm doing in this moment is I'm allowing myself to be honest in the present moment, to allow my body to feel what it feels, to allow myself to notice it, to observe it, to breathe through it, and simply to not act it out. And what I wanted to share in this moment was a very short meditation, because it's what I was doing right before I hit record. And what I do is I close my eyes, and I bring my attention to my breath. And I focus my attention on my breath. I allow all the other things that are trying to command my attention to just release. I'm not trying to control. I'm not trying to force. I'm not suppressing. I'm not being in denial. I'm simply being with my breath, and with each breath I take in and each breath I let out, I'm releasing the need to act from that place of fear. And what I'm also doing is I'm noticing this space behind my forehead. I'm noticing how quickly that space wants to tell a story about what I'm feeling in my own body. And before I hit record, I was sitting here and I was noticing the sensations in my body. Noticing some sensations of vulnerability or discomfort. Noticing how quickly the mind says, "What's wrong?" And we start telling a story about the sensations in our body. And by telling that story, we're writing the code We're writing the algorithm for how we will relate to our own mind and our own body as we move forward. The reality is I'm just having some sensations in my body, and my mind wants to tell a story about those sensations. And when I close my eyes and I allow myself to quiet the space behind my forehead, which can be as easy as noticing the difference between thinking your thoughts and observing your thoughts as nothing more than another form of sensation. Just like I notice sensation in my body, I can notice sensation in my mind. My brain is just trying to solve problems, because that's what this amazing thing does up here. It's trying to solve problems. It's trying to fix. It's trying to protect. The emotional brain says something doesn't feel right. The body says something doesn't feel right. And the mind goes into problem solving mode. And suddenly we are creating this thing that we call anxiety. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm continuing to work through, genuinely in this moment, sharing with you, noticing my breath, noticing the sensation in my body, noticing the real just basic feelings of vulnerability. And rather than telling a story, rather than saying, where is this coming from? What is wrong with me? What must be wrong that I'm feeling this way? I'm simply saying, okay, I'm having some sensations. I'm having some feelings. If I go down that road of problem solving, it can be, I'm just tired. I'm just noticing one of a million stories that we're being told or that we're telling ourselves in our culture. I could be trying to solve something in my own life or resolve something. I could be sensing any number of things, but what I try to do is notice that my mind is trying to tell a story. It's trying to fix and problem solve and control. That perception is what creates anxiety. So what I do is I notice it, I observe it, I release it, and I continue to bring my attention back to a place of love, back to a place of acceptance in this moment of myself and the way things are, and I allow that to be what it is. And by doing that, I'm practicing loving kindness for myself. I'm practicing loving kindness in general. I'm just being in that state of love, being in love. So I'm just sharing with you in the moment. I hope you pick something up from that, and I wanted to share that space from me to you this morning. Take care out there, everybody.